Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to my online class. This is Shorkat Taslima Afroz, lecturer, Department of English. Dear students, our today's topic is very interesting, and this topic is very common for the students of class 9, 10, 11, and 12. Dear students, this topic is very important because many of you are interested to go abroad. If you want to go to abroad, in that case, you need to sit for an examination, which you know, an IELTS examination. In IELTS examination, you also will find this topic very common. As dear students, you can see on the board, I have already mentioned our today's topic, that is graph and chart. Today I will teach you how to perfectly write or analyze a graph or chart. Remember, dear students, you have to know the definition of graph and chart. You have to know the classification. That means how many types of graph and chart is available in English. After that, you have to know the writing format. Definitely, I will discuss everything one by one. After that, I will show you some vocabularies which will help you to describe the entire topic. And finally, I will show you a sample answer. So dear students, before I start, it's important to mention here that graphic chart you will find in English first paper, and the marks is 10 and question number is 10. So you are already aware about this topic. আমি আগে বলেছি শিক্ষার্থীরা যে তোমাদেরকে এই টপিকসটি তোমরা আগে থেকে পরিচিত এবং কিভাবে এটা করতে হবে আমি তোমাদেরকে ক্লাসে শিখিয়েছি বা তোমাদের টিচাররা শিখিয়েছেন এবং তোমরা যেহেতু আমি অলরেডি বলেছি যে ক্লাস 9, 10, 11, 12 প্রত্যেকটা ক্লাসের জন্য একই সাথে ইম্পর্টেন্ট, তাই তোমাদেরকে এটা অবশ্যই ভালো করে বুঝতে হবে। তাহলে চলো দেখে নেই আমাদের আজকের টপিকসে কি আছে। So my dear students, as you can see on the screen, the definition. A graph or chart is a visual stimulus to decode the data. A data interpretation requires an analysis and comparison of the given facts and drawing conclusion based on the given data. So my dear students, as I said earlier, it's very important to know the definition when you are writing any topic or you're learning any topic. So this will help you to analyze, to write a graph or chart very properly. Now my dear students, I will talk about the classification of graph and chart in English language. In English language, you will find different type of graph or chart. Now I will show you only the 4 graph and chart. As you can see on the screen, column chart, and you will find this type of question in your examination. So here you can see example for you. Then line chart and pie chart. These two also very common, and you will find this type of question in your examination. So dear students, you have to know these 4, though there are different type of graph and chart. Now my dear students, I have prepared 2 examples for you, as you can see on the screen. First one is, study the graph given below. The chart depicts the number of students of class 10th speaking English and Hindi in 3 different types of schools in New Delhi. Based on the detail given in the bar graph given below, write an analytical paragraph in 150 words. So dear students, as you can see, we have to write a paragraph. That means you have to analyze this topic and you have to write 150 words. Next, I have prepared another example for you. The writing style of these 2 is very common, but the things is different. Number 2, sample question. Here we have an example of a pie chart that
represents how internet users aged 16 plus prefer to browse the web. So my dear students, you have to know the process, and after watching this video, definitely it will help you to write a good and in a perfect way to describe a graph or chart. Now, I will show you more about this topic.
ডিয়ার স্টুডেন্টস, আমরা অলরেডি ক্লাসিফিকেশন এবং গ্রাফ কাকে বলে নিয়ে আলোচনা করেছি। এবার আমরা বিস্তারিত আলোচনা করব যে কিভাবে একটি গ্রাফ এন্ড চার্ট লিখতে হয়। তাহলে চলো দেখি কি করে একটি গ্রাফ এন্ড চার্ট লিখতে হয়।
Now my dear students, as you can see on the screen, I have prepared for you how to write, that means the writing format. Dear students, I have already shown you 2 sample questions, and now I will show you the writing format. Dear students, you have to write a graph or chart very properly, and for that reason the process you can see divided into 3 parts. First of all, you have to write the introduction, next body of the paragraph, and finally conclusion. Now, what to write in introduction? Explain in 1 or 2 lines the subject of the graph given. That means you have to write 2 lines, not more than, to say the introduction. Next, my dear students, to build your body to describe the entire topic, what to do? Explain in detail what the graph is about. So you have to clear everything in detail, use relevant figures, explain trends, make comparisons and contrast. Divide it into sub-paragraph if required. And finally, the conclusion. Conclude the paragraph giving the overall view or summary of the paragraph. Now, dear students, I'm sure you understand how to write a graph or chart. Now, I will show you the entire process, and definitely it will help you to write a perfect graph or chart. I have prepared here 3 ways to describe introduction. Dear students, you also can use your own ways, own technique to write the introduction. But remember, when you are writing an introduction, don't write there more than 2 lines. As you can see on the screen, I have prepared the 3 format for you. First one, this. That means this graph or this chart, pie chart, line chart, bar chart, column, anything. The changes in the year between dash and dash. Or you can write from this year to this year, or you also can mention only the years like over 10 years, 5 years or anything, year period. Number 2, you can write here the horizontal axis shows time in year and the vertical axis represent in thousand or million. Number 3, these curves illustrate or the solid line shows. So dear students, I'm sure this topic is clear to you. Now the description. As I said, in a description box you have to write everything very properly. So here you can see for describing trends. If you want to describe the trend, then you can use these phrases or words like a pattern of growth, rapidly developed. You can also use skyrocketed, striking increased or peaked. You also can use their declined, plummeted, leveled off, stagnated, fluctuate, starting to rise, starting to fall, drop down slightly, etc. Or you also can use quantities like 48% off, 1/3 off, or nearly 1/4 off. Dear students, you also can use by this way almost 80%, majority, on average, twice as much, almost equal, the highest, The lowest, very close to 2%, roughly, approximately 5% off, just under the 3%, like this way. This is only the sample, so you can use this. Dear students, here more information for you to describe. For establishing or relationship or contrast, use phrase and words like relationship between, similarly, in contrast, with, in comparison to. Actually, these words are to describe the contrast or the relationship. But in the opposite case, or you can use there, however, whereas, when it comes to, or as opposed to. You also can use there while, striking difference, noticeable difference, etc. Next is students, as you can see, for conclusion you can use this connecting phrases like overall, subsequently, in all, or in a nutshell, for the chart given, or in short, striking changes, including, and therefore. So dear students, I hope you understand how to describe a chart. And remember, you have to describe, you have to give all information properly which is given in a graph chart. Now my dear students, you have to write a suitable conclusion. When you are writing a conclusion, you have to remember that you have to write only an overview or a summary of entire topic. So here is a format for you. You can write only the highest portion or the lowest portion mentioning the year. As you can see on the screen, the graph shows the highest portion, the percentage I'm mentioning in year, and the lowest portion which was something in year. By this way, dear students, you can conclude your entire topic.
আমরা দেখে নিলাম একটি গ্রাফ এবং চার্ট লেখার জন্য যে তিনটি পার্ট রয়েছে। এবার আমরা দেখে নিব কি করে সেটাকে ব্যবহার করার জন্য কিছু ভোকাবুলারি আমাদেরকে হেল্প করতে পারে। তাহলে চলো দেখে নিই সেই ভোকাবুলারিগুলো কি কি।
Using vocabulary is important for every writer. Dear student, as you can see on the screen, the upward trend. If you find a graph or chart which showing upward trend, you can use this type of word. And remember, don't use a sentence repeatedly. So I have prepared here some words for you. This will help you to describe a graph or chart. Increase or increased, rise or rose, go up or went up, expand and expanded. I also show you here the present form and the past form. Boom, boomed, gain or gained, improve or improved, climb, climbed up. Just students, remember, don't use a word over and again. Now, the downward trend. If the graph or chart shows any downward trend, then you can use this type of word like decrease or decreased, fell, fell, drop, dropped, or you can use decline or declined, collapse, collapsed, slump, slumped, plumber, plummeted, plank, planked, tremble, tumbled, dip, dipped, slip or slipped. Dear students, I have mentioned here 11 types of words. So don't use any word over and again. Next, I will show you another way to describe when you will find thing ups and down trend. You also can use there fluctuated, zigzagged, cluttered or undulate. Next, huge changes. If there is huge changes, you can use there dramatically, sharply, suddenly, enormously, rapidly, steeply. If there is no change, you can write stayed the same, remain constant, stabilized. Or if there is a slight change, little change, you also can use different type of word. Slight, gentle, gently, minimal, minimally, gradual, gradually, slow, slowly, steady, steadily. Now dear students, more words for you on the screen. Just under, well under, roughly, approximately, just over, well over, nearly around. Now dear students, I have prepared some verbs which I have already mentioned. Verb. I want to show you all the verbs all together. First one is rise, increase, grow, go up to, climb, boom, peak, or you can write fall, decline, decrease, drop, dip. Or you also can use go down, reduce, level up, remain stable, no change, remain steady. You also can use stay constant, maintain the same level, crash, collapse, plummet, and plummet. By this way you can use the verbs. Now I will show you some adjective which will help you to write the graph and chart. As you can see on the screen, sharp, rapid, huge, dramatic, substantial, considerable, significant, slight, small, minimal, or massive. Adverbs are dramatically, rapidly, hugely, massive, sharply, steeply, considerably, substantially, significantly, slightly, minimally, and markedly. Dear students, I hope you understand the verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Now, the very important part of this entire topic. Dear students, I'm sure now you understand the requirements. From the discussion, you understand the important way, the requirements of this graph and chart. Dear students, remember, all these requirements are very important when you are writing a graph or chart. It should be, that means a graph should be brief and comprehensive. I repeat, it should be brief and comprehensive, include complete information. Number 2, it should state facts that are provided by the chart. And number 3, it is necessary to make use of simple and accurate language. Number 4, it should mention figures and quantities appropriately. Number 5, it is appropriate to use the same tense. Number 6, no personal observation or response should be provided. Lastly, number 7, it would be preferable to use the passive form of the verb. So dear students, please maintain the requirement and definitely you will obtain a good marks in the examination.
এখন তোমাদের জন্য ডিয়ার স্টুডেন্টস একটা স্যাম্পল অ্যান্সার আমি রেডি করেছি, যেখানে তোমাদেরকে স্যাম্পল কোশ্চেন দুটো দিয়েছিলাম, সেখান থেকে আমি একটা স্যাম্পল কোশ্চেন রেডি করেছি। তাহলে চলো দেখি স্যাম্পল কোশ্চেন দেখে তোমরা সেভাবে প্রিপেয়ার করতে পারবে।
So my dear students, as you can see on the screen, sample answer 1. I hope you can remember our sample questions. There were 2 sample questions. Now I will show you one sample answer. The first question was about the number of students speaking in English and in Hindi. Well, you can see I have written here a suitable title, the name of the number of students speaking in English. First of all, you have to write an introduction. As you can see, I have written here 2 lines and very simple way. The chart depicts the number of students of class 10th speaking English and Hindi in 3 different types of schools in New Delhi. So dear students, by this way you can write this introduction in a very simple way. Next, I will just show you the sample answer. You can use all the vocabularies the way I have already mentioned. Well, how to write a description? The chart clearly illustrates that the number of students speaking Hindi in government schools is almost 3.5 times greater than the students who speak English. In contrast, the scene is totally different in private schools, where two-thirds of the total students prefer to speak in English. In KVs, there is a slight difference between the choice of two languages, with Hindi being spoken by 55% of students. On comparing the three types of given schools, government schools have the highest number of Hindi speakers, private schools are at the highest position among the English speakers. So dear students, by this way you can write the description. Next comes the conclusion. I have used here in a nutshell. You can use there in fine, by this graph, by this way you can describe this. So you can see, in a nutshell, private school students prefer to speak English, whereas government school students choose Hindi over English to communicate. Students are almost evenly distributed in KVS on the basis of language spoken. So my dear students, I hope this sample question will help you to write a suitable, a proper way to describe a graph or chart.
প্রিয় শিক্ষার্থীরা, আশা করছি তোমরা আমাদের আজকের যে টপিকসটি ছিল সেটি খুব ভালো করে বুঝতে পেরেছো। নাও তোমাদেরকে অবশ্যই অনেক বেশি প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে, এবং যদি তোমরা কোনো ধরনের প্রবলেম ফেস করো অবশ্যই তোমার সাবজেক্ট টিচারকে তোমরা আস্ক করতে পারো। অবশ্যই পড়াশোনার সাথেই থাকতে হবে। তো সি ইউ লেটার ইন মাই নেক্সট ক্লাস। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।